Are you familiar or were you familiar with Hitman Howie T, R.I.P. He
Yes.
just passed away.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Talk to us about what you know about Hitman Howie T.
I met Howie T. He used to produce Salt and Pepper, if I'm mistaken, correct?
Salt and Pepa, Real Roxanne. He produced I Want to Sex You Up. UTFO, Chub Rock, Special Ed. I mean, the list goes on and on. Yeah.
When I booked Salt and Pepper at Skateland, Howie T came with him. If I ain't mistaken, he was dating Salt up Pepper. I think it was that they Salt at the time. Cool brother. You know, again, man, this is 40 some years ago, and people was passing through my life on a regular basis. I do remember we didn't take pictures of Salt and Pepper there. We didn't take pictures of Salt and Pepper there. So we don't have no pictures of any of that shit. Back then it was happening so fast. I didn't have time to go get a camera, get a picture, go get developed. But yeah, I did meet Hitman Howie T. I also had booked Real Roxanne at Skateland. Both of them came to Skateland, and he didn't come the second. He didn't come with Real Roxanne. She had another manager at that time. But yeah, we crossed paths back in the early '80s before we got gangster. It was definitely before we got gangster, and he was the man. He was the man. In fact, when Howie T was so hot, that was one of the guys that Dre wanted to compete with. He felt that was his competition. I want to be big as Howie T. Real talk. Real talk. He was kind of Dre's inspiration. Howie T had a lot of shit going on back in the day.
Damn, that's big. I never knew he was an inspiration for Dre.
Yes, sir.
But it makes
yes, sir.
perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. Man, R.I.P. 62 years old, man. That's young.
Hell yeah, especially if you're 68. Yeah.
Take care of yourselves, fellas. Well, someone sent me a DM, Lonzo, and I feel bad that I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's a big supporter. He says, Dusty, please ask Lonzo about Teddy Riley's gangsta manager, Gene Griffin, R.I.P., the guy who mentored and guided Suge into being a thug in this industry. Do you know anything about Gene Griffin?
I never met Gene Griffin. I think he might have his Griffins confused, though. There was Gene Griffin and there was Dick Griffin.
Okay, break it down. Break it down in case he's watching right now.
Gene Griffin was Teddy Riley's manager, a gangster as well. And according to Teddy Riley, ganked him out of all his royalties, his publishing, everything. And did anybody do anything about it? Dick Griffey was a promoter here in LA, owned Solar Records. Suge worked with Big West, who was Dick Griffey's main security guy. And that's how Suge got his training through Dick Griffey, not Gene Griffin.
Easy mistake. Got it. All right, cool. Thanks for clearing that up, Lonzo. Well, before we jump into Straight Outta Compton and talking about the 10-year anniversary coming up next week, I'm going to ask everybody to hit that like button if you have not already. Welcome to the show. We do appreciate each and every one of you. If this is your first time joining the channel, you like that real West Coast hip hop, that real authentic stuff, the stuff you're not going to get anywhere else. You're tuned into the right place. N.W.A. Stories with Alonzo. Hit that subscribe button. We have a lot more for you coming this year. And I'm Dusty Vision. That's Alonzo, the godfather of West Coast hip hop. Do your Google search if you are not familiar. All right, Lonzo, 10 years ago, man. And I'm doing it about a week early because I'm going to post the clips leading up to the anniversary of Straight Outta Compton on August 14th, 2015, man. It's crazy saying that. Before we jump into the, the stuff that we've talked about in the past, but, it's best time to talk about it now on the 10-year anniversary. Tell us how that movie changed your life, Lonzo.
For the first couple of years, I spent time defending the way I was portrayed in the movie. It was really amazing, man, because, man, you're a hater. You hated hip hop. You're a hater. And first I'd get pissed off and try to explain it to people. Then I realized you don't know shit. You ain't that no. You trying to make a movie into a documentary. It wasn't a documentary. And once I understood that movie studios have the right to embellish what they call a creative license they can take a character, and as long as it's not too far from the actual character, they can put a little something on it to make it seem more attractive. I realized that my character in the first part of the movie was pretty much the antagonist till Suge came along. Okay, and it got me a lot of speaking gigs, sold some books, a lot of speaking gigs, a newfound respect, and it's also in a lot of ways it's become my introduction for those who are not into hip hop. I'll ask them, "Have you ever seen Straight Outta Compton?" "Oh yeah, I've seen that movie." "You remember the guy giving Dre a hard time in this club for playing music?" "Yeah, I'm him in real life." "Oh shit!" And everything changes. Like I said, I'm a regular at USC. I speak at different schools all the time, and it's inspired documentaries. It's inspired by 2 documentaries. It just gave me another shine that I might not have gotten. Nobody else in hip hop had that kind of shine. They made movies back with breaking and stuff like that, but as a producer, I think as a non-rapping artist, a minimal rapping artist, put it that way, I think the 2 things that boosted me the most was Straight Outta Compton and Dre using Even After Dark in the Super Bowl. Those 2 things had a major impact on my life. Like I said, it's been 10 years, and some people still don't know I'm that Lonzo. And that, as rare as that name is, even though Lonzo Ball, they know it ain't his ass, but as rare as that name is, Lonzo, excuse me, I'm the same one. "Oh my God, I didn't know about that." "Nah, okay, now you do. What you gonna do? What you gonna do?" So yeah, and it's fun to hear some of the people talk about it and how they, once they get to know me or meet me, "You don't sound like an asshole." "You don't seem like that." But you know what? I explained to him. I said, "Man, look, when you run something, whether it's a business, your house, as a man, at some point in time, every once in a while, you're gonna say or do some shit to piss people off because you have a different agenda than they do, and that's just being grown up. I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to make sure this business runs the way it's supposed to, and if you can't do it, we got a problem."
All right, so you told us that you cried when you saw Eve After Dark